Right, hello everybody. Good evening. Yeah, so it is spring. Hello, spring. So spring is a changeable time, so I can understand that you've got a jacket on there in Durban where it's supposed to be warm, but it is changeable, and it's a time that we change things. I think actually it's quite, apt that we should talk about that, because we get a feeling that we want to actually shed all the things of winter and we want to clean our homes and declutter. I think that's probably the best way we should be thinking of it. And so we need agents to be able to help us do that. And one of those, as Drew mentioned, is actually in fact our skincare and our skincare range, and of course our home care range. And nutrition, of course, should always be there in the background, keeping us as healthy as the seasons change. So I'm going to just sort of talk ourselves through, but I was thinking about the different products, and it made me actually go into a supermarket, which I haven't done, certainly not down the aisles of the cleaning products, and just have a look at what is on hand and what people are actually using or choosing to use, or probably not even realizing what it is they're buying because they've always kept buying it. And I was absolutely, again, as I thought I might be, overwhelmed by all the choices that are there, and just some of the amazing things that we have to wade through in order to be able to find a product that we can actually help to clean our homes and perhaps spring clean it at this time of the year. And it just made me sort of think about, let's get our slides to move here. Give me a good time with this one. Are the slides moving there, Drew? No.
No, hit exit. You seem to have a little pencil going around. Hit your exit button.
I'll find the exit button.
On your keyboard.
Okay, let's see whether we can get there now. There we are. Right, so I just, figured that spring, the season for light and bright, is really what we're feeling, not rough and tough, which is what I got a sense of. And this picture really is just here to say, often it's a lot of hard work to clean up after winter and do a spring clean. And this picture just reminded me of all the products people are buying and the hard work. And you'll see the gloves there, the thick rubber gloves that people put on because they reckon it's going to be, a rough and tough job. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about this evening, that it doesn't have to be that. We buy, as I say, looking at those shelves, some of those things almost look like cool drinks. They were all different colors, and even the fragrances were almost like a flavor and a pomegranate and various things that were enticing people to buy them. And in fact, what people didn't realize that they were buying a lot of things full of some cleaning agent, but also a lot of water, and that they were going to have to get back there not too long in the future and buy yet another bottle because they were going to run out. And it just made me realize what Neolife had to offer. And we're going to just talk about the simplicity of our range and how little you actually have to go out there and purchase. And certainly you don't have to go out there and purchase one of those pairs of gloves because you're not going to need them. And in fact, I guess we should ask ourselves, because you probably have a sense of this, but just aren't aware that you are able to do something about it. Do you want to help safeguard the environment that Drew was talking about? Protect your family from toxins. And of course, to save money while you're doing that. And that might sound like, almost too fantastic, but in fact, it's very doable. And so at Neolife, this is what we've been doing for a long, long time. In fact, way before it became, fashionable to talk about a cleaner planet and going green and all those sort of terminology that's thrown around. A lot of people don't even take it seriously, but in fact, we should be taking it seriously, and it does exist if you look for it. So we can have a cleaner home and a cleaner planet. And I'm going to just kind of go through that concept of powerful products, economical products, and that can be earth-friendly, good for the environment, good for your family, and good for your pocket. And yes, there are only 4 products there. And we're going to talk about those because those products are going to do a huge job for your home and for your spring cleaning efforts along the way. So just look at those different adjectives that we've used. If we look at the liquids that were in the picture, let's just look at those for a minute. We sell them as a concentrate. And remember, I mentioned about all these different bottles on the shelves. We don't mix it with the water for you. We actually sell you the concentrate. So it's extremely powerful. Proven performance results. As I say, we've been doing this for over 60 years now. So we tried and tested, and we know the products work. people come back for them all the time once they start using them. And really our feature here in terms of powerfulness is that it's got maximum performance, but we want to use the minimum amount of product. That's where our first impact comes. And of course, there will be an economy value to you because you're going to add the water as you need it. We're not shipping water around the place. You're going to dilute it for the application that you want. And if you just look at these numbers, that 1 litre that you will purchase can yield anything between an additional 10 up to an additional 50 litres out of that 1 litre. When you add the water and you have it as a ready-to-use product, which is absolutely amazing. How often are you going to have to go back and keep buying? You don't have to keep going back to the supermarket or even buying online in terms of them delivering it, where you often don't reconsider what you're purchasing. Very often you just click the button and buy the same thing you ever bought before without really realizing that there's a whole world out there that could be better for you. And of course, the earth-friendly part of it is that because we have a concentrate and we add our own water and control our own dilutions, we live up to our concept of a low dose and therefore a low burden. So we're not actually throwing away a whole lot of product or excess product with things that we don't even understand into the waterways, into water systems, into our rivers, and generally polluting the earth. Because we are transporting less water, we're not actually putting water with the product. And as a result, we're not packaging the ready-to-use product. You're doing that in your home by using just 1 litre and making a whole lot more litres in your own home. So it's not being transported anywhere. And there's not an excess of packaging that you're turfing out every time you've gone through 1 litre of ready-to-use product. I'm going to show you how that works. We use less energy because we actually can use a lot of our products in very low temperatures in terms of the water that we're using, which is a huge saving. As I say, we're not throwing away that bottle every time we've gone through a litre of ready-to-use product. You're going to top it up with your concentrate. So you're not throwing things away into the environment. So a very simple concept, but actually extremely powerful for our benefit, for the benefit of our families, for our homes, and of course for the planet. So let's look, as I say, at the liquids. And here you'll see what I mean. The product actually says concentrate on the bottle. And all you really need to do, and in fact should do, when you purchase your first litre, you need to purchase a dispensing bottle where you can actually decant from the concentrate and then add your water. And it's all demarcated for you. It actually indicates to you how much and where to actually put the amount of concentrate and where to top it up for the water. So extremely easy to use. And all you're doing now is going to top up that dispensing bottle. You're not throwing anything away, not until your litre is actually finished. So already, just visually, you can actually see the benefit. So let's develop that a little bit more. And this was just one of our social media posts that kind of just highlights it for you. So it's a light duty concentrate. And then we have a heavy duty concentrate. And there it actually just, very quickly at a glance, is actually showing you what I mean, that we are duplicating the concentrate in the product. And for example, this one is saying base it on a dilution of 1 to 10. What does that actually mean? It means 1 part of super 10, or the concentrate, to 10 parts water. And the little dispensing bottle or spray bottle that I showed you has already got all those markings on it. So it's easy to stick within the recommendations and not to waste product, not to overuse it, and to make it, as I say, economical for your pocket as well. Right, so let's look at our light duty concentrate. And we're going to go through just each of these products very briefly, just to remind you of what it is that you will actually be benefiting from in terms of using the product. So light duty concentrate, there you'll be getting, or should get yourself a little dispensing bottle. And it has got the markings on it. And so for some people, for example, will dilute it with 1 part LDC to 3 parts water. And depending on the job you want to do, you could even go a slightly weaker solution and say 1 part LDC to 5 parts water. So in some cases, you'll get 11 bottles out of that 1 litre, or you might even get 17 of these little bottles out of that litre. But that doesn't mean you have to go and buy 17 bottles. You can actually have 1 and keep filling it up. But because it's so versatile, I would suggest that you actually got yourself at least 3 or 4 of them, because you're going to dot them all around your home because they have such a diverse application. But the point here is that you're adding the water and you're not throwing a bottle away every time it's empty. You simply top it up with a concentrate, top it up with the water, get on with the job. So yeah, as easy as LDC, you'll see that it's very effective at breaking down grease. It actually holds that grease or oily substance in solution, so it keeps it in the solution, but in actual fact allows the water to keep and the product to keep cleaning, and it holds all the dirt in a sort of containing in the actual solution. But in fact, I mean, if you just look at the variety of applications, you can use this to hand wash dishes, for example. If you're not putting it in a dishwasher, you're actually just doing some dishes at the sink. Because it's so gentle, it's a light duty concentrate. What makes it light is that it's also got lovely coconut derivatives in it. So it's very gentle on the skin. The pH is very gentle as well. So people are actually using it, not just to clean the bath, but to actually get in the bath with it. And the kids love it because it gives up a nice bubble bath. And so they're actually washing themselves and washing the bath at the same time. Because remember, it's actually taking any fats. We give off natural fats off our skin. So in fact, sometimes in the shower and on the bath, our natural body fats are actually accumulating on the surfaces. And that's what's also causing some of the soapy substances that many people use to actually cause a kind of scum, if you like, or a residue on your tiles or on the bath. Now, this product actually doesn't do that. It actually, if you like, sucks up, it takes up those fatty substances, holds them in solution, pull out the plug, and a little bit goes down at one time. So you're not only cleaning yourself, you're actually cleaning the bath or the shower as well. Lovely foam, so and a very gentle on the skin. So in fact, some men are even using it for shaving very, very successfully. In fact, introducing more and more of their customers and friends to it because it has a lovely foaming agent and it's very effective for shaving. So you're starting to see that, in fact, first of all, we're using it on our skin. So we don't need those heavy gloves that I showed you in the beginning. And secondly, we're doubling up, tripling up. We're just actually using this product for so many different things. And we haven't had to go out. That's why only 4 products is going to do such a big job in your home. Because it's so gentle on skin. I mean, it's gentle on your pets. It's gentle on their fur. It's certainly gentle on their skin. And so we don't have to go out and apply a particular shampoo for them. They can also get in the bath, have a bubble bath, and look really fresh and smell lovely. And then, of course, what we would normally think of doing with a cleaner is actually clean the surfaces in our home. And so anything that needs cleaning, whether it's the kitchen surfaces, even floors, anything that needs general cleaning, as I say, the bath. What I discovered when I was walking down those aisles is that probably what we don't realize is that those products put there something for the bathroom. So you figure, okay, I've got a bathroom. Yes, I've got tiles on the floor, so I buy a towel cleaner. Yes, I've got a bath, so I buy something to clean the bath. I then buy something to clean the shower because they've got a cleaner that says, this is for your shower. This is for your toilet. Before you know it, you've walked out of the shop there with 4 products for your bathroom. In fact, LDC will do all that for you, one product, and it will even clean you. So we don't need to go and buy all these products that are already polluting the environment because we are throwing away bottles virtually weekly. So we are actually making a huge difference, as I say, on the impact of not just our pockets, but in fact the environment. And of course, things that we're using in our homes. We're not over cleaning things, and we don't have undesirable substances in the product. So we're really reducing our load in every respect. And just look again at the diversity. If you pop your ring into just a squirt of some LDC already diluted into some water, and you can even perhaps leave it overnight. Even if that wasn't a diamond, I can tell you by the morning it'll look like one because it'll sparkle so it just gets in and cleans all the grime out very gently without having to try too hard. And so this spring, your spring cleaning is really not going to be as tough a job as you thought it might be. So this is just a little video again, just to show you again the diversity of this product. It's quite an amazing product. You actually cannot live without LDC once you get started. It's everybody's favorite product. And particularly right now, as we are all very, very concerned about hygiene and not bringing toxins into the home, but also not bringing any bugs and undesirables into our home from supermarkets and areas that we're buying food from. And so I want to just show you what a lot of people are doing by choice. They're actually also using a very gentle cleaning agent like this to actually remove some of the residues, potential bugs and bacteria and what have you that might be living on the fruit and vegetables or fresh produce that we bring into our home. And so this little video, I'm just going to show it to you because I'll talk you through it. What we have here are 2 heads of broccoli. And when you put normal water, which a lot of people just dust water sort of over to their vegetables, but in fact, if you see here, this density of this little broccoli head, the water just ran right off it. Now you squirt a little bit of diluted LDC onto it. Remember, it picks up grime and fats. And it's also broken down the surface tension of water. And what it's also done, you'll see it's going through the middle of that little broccoli head. And so what we're doing is we're actually dispersing all the waxes and residues, pesticides and herbicides that have been put on our vegetables to protect them so that they don't go off. And so, yes, it is a little bit more moist, so the color is different. But in fact, what we've done is we've removed the sort of waxy residues that you find, not just on broccoli, but on all of the fruit and vegetables that we buy, so that they will be preserved. But what happens if we just use water, it runs off them. It doesn't break down that waxy buildup, which in fact, of course, is there for a reason. They would want it to be sticking to the produce, because otherwise when there was irrigation happening or if it rained, it would wash that off. So they don't want it to happen, the farmers. So they make sure that it sticks, they are designed so that they will actually adhere to your fruit and vegetables. So what we've done here, you saw the first time when we just put water over there, it just ran right off the edge. When you actually break the surface tension of the water and also use something like LDC to break down waxes, it actually starts to move those pesticides and herbicides that are, living on there and there to protect, the fruit and vegetables. We don't want to eat them though. We want to eat the fruit and vegetable. So in actual fact, we've actually removed them. So you can actually see even that color. Yes, it is a little moist, so it's going to be slightly darker, but it's actually taken that sort of gray residue off there. So really just a fresh new way of looking at your fresh produce. Just get those toxins off your food before you actually swallow them. So again, another application for LDC. So light duty concentrate, as easy as LDC, extremely effective. You really actually can't live without it. And you'll see they're suitable for the whole family. It's not toxic. You can see no gloves. Kids are washing the dishes. Kids are washing themselves. It's a friendly product suitable for the whole family, as well as the bird and the dog and the cat and anybody else who lives in your home. Everybody's going to enjoy it and benefit from it. So don't forget LDC. And let's get to Super 10. Now here again, I showed you before that you have a concentrate and you're going to decant it and you're going to add the water concentration as you require. We have 2 different concentrations. You can put 1 part Super 10 and 10 parts water, which is your everyday average use. But if you really want to make it stronger for particularly heavy duty cleaning, well, you can put 1 part of your Super 10 and 3 parts water, and that'll make it stronger. And your spray bottle is going to show you very easily, this is the mark that you put the different dilutions at. So you can keep the economy factor under control because, there's no hit and miss here. So we're saying we're making another 10 liters, which is really where some of the name comes from. Super 10, apart from the fact that it has Super 10 applications and many more actually, it actually makes another 10 liters of ready-to-use product. You'll see here that there are 22 of these spray bottles because they are a 500 ml container. So you're going to fill this little spray bottle 22 times before you ever have to consider disposing of that 1 liter that you've purchased. Just consider how different that is from what you're purchasing on the supermarket shelf. What they're actually selling you is something that's already in the spray bottle. So when it's empty, you throw it away, you go back to the supermarket and buy another one. We've completely eliminated that issue for you, that inconvenience, that cost, and made this beneficial to you in all sorts of ways, and certainly for the environment and certainly for your pocket. So this is how we use it, as a concentrate that we control the dilution. And in actual fact, because of that whole concept of not just turfing bottles out every time you've finished using the ready-to-use application, we've estimated that, it's probably a bit more by now, but about a good 700 million bottles have been stopped from being literally turfed out when you finished using the liquid that you purchased at the supermarket. That's an enormous number of bottles that we've prevented from simply being dumped into landfills, often when people don't really realize what it is they're doing. we hear all about this, protect the environment, but people don't think that they can actually do their part. What can little me do? We can all make a big difference. And we've been doing this for 60 years, long before, as I said, it was ever fashionable or talked about. And so we're really proud of that fact. And once you start getting into purchasing, as I said, just 4 products, you're going to see how beneficial they are in your home. There's no need to go out and buy all those other things that you're being enticed to buy that you don't really need. And this really is very, very versatile because you've got those different dilutions. And you can see there, even though we call it a heavy duty cleaner, you can just spray it onto a delicate fabric, or maybe maybe there's a crayon mark on something, or perhaps a bit of lipstick that's got onto there. And you'll be able to just put a little bit of Super 10 on there and just pat it off, and it actually lifts it out. This has to be in everybody's home. It can be used virtually anywhere that water can be used. You just think about it like that. So don't try to remember all the different applications. When you get the products, you will experiment, and you'll actually have new things that we haven't even thought about using them for. So even things like this, for example, by contrast to LDC, where LDC picks up fats, they're mostly sort of vegetable fats, or as I said, fats from our natural fats from our skin. But LDC and Super 10 goes a little bit deeper, and it can actually pick up your sort of grimy fats, almost your petroleum-based fats, or sticky things that are difficult to lift. This is where Super 10 comes into its own. So although it can go onto a fabric, but it'll get something fatty out of the fabric, or just a little stain, but maybe you've got a cupboard near where you're cooking, and perhaps there's splashing from the cooking oils, and there's a residue, or even it could be a brine. You can get that off there. The oven, it gets grease spattered on it, it's going to clean that. I mean, let's just talk about ovens for a minute. There are oven cleaners out there that you're going to pick up off the supermarket shelf. And I mean, I think we've all experienced this. You only give it one squirt and it pushes you back about a meter. It's up your nose and out your ears. It really is aggressive, and surely it can't be good for your whole system. And it certainly can't be good once you've done the cleaning in the oven. That residue is still in the oven. We switch it on, and then we cook our food in there. So it's permeating things around us and even into our food that we actually don't realize. So we've got to stop and think a little bit about what it is we're being enticed to buy. And because we've been doing it for years, we don't tend to really think about it. But in actual fact, there's a better way to do things. So Super 10 is actually going to, as I said, delicate cleaning for you. And it's going to start getting into the grimy parts of your home and places that need to be cleaned on a regular basis. And usually people have got to don the gloves and do the hard work, and you don't have to do that with Neolife's products or Golden products. You literally spray it on and let the product do the work. So yeah, drains, anything that you can see that's starting to get a bit greasy and grimier, the wheels, the carbon that builds up on your, in the wheels of your car, for example, squirt off some Super 10. And even as far as going onto the car engine, so can you see how we're starting to really get into the greasy stuff here? But I mean, there are many other applications. Even as I said, of fabrics, for example, you can go, you generally do purchase a product for getting the grime off the collars and the cuffs, on men's shirts in particular, but those things are very expensive. Well, you don't have to go and buy a separate product now. Your Super 10, you just squirt it on there prior to cleaning, putting it into the washing machine. It's doubled up as a product there. Even the grouting on your towels. And we don't have to go and buy a product because we've got towels in the kitchen, so we get a kitchen towel cleaner. Because we've got towels in the bathroom, we get a bathroom towel cleaner. We don't have to do that. Between Super 10 and LDC, we've got our house covered. And even the grouting between the towels, that does get dirty and grimy. I can tell you, once you get started and you spray a little bit of Super 10 on one of those little grouting bits, you've got to do the whole lot because it cleans it so effectively. It actually shows up the others as being somewhat dirty. So these products are your friends. They're actually going to do the work for you. So this spring cleaning is going to be a dream this year. And of course, yeah, we want to keep our homes clean. We want to keep them also disinfected. So every home generally has a disinfectant. Most people tend to think of buying something aggressive, perhaps just to clean the toilets and the obvious places that you think are going to be full of bacteria. But in actual fact, we need to clean all surfaces. Particularly as we've got kids around, we're going to chop up food in there, we've got animals around, we need to make sure that all surfaces, it can be the taps, the plugs, all the different areas, even the toys of your kids, just as I say, cleaning here the surface of before you start to prepare anything. Your children are probably going to eat on the surface. So we have a product called Care that has been a highly effective disinfectant. Very important though, when you're looking for a disinfectant, don't just get taken in by the name of the product. Make sure that it's actually registered as a disinfectant, that in fact it's been tested. And I found on some of those labels, which were actually extremely difficult to read because they were just jam-packed with information. You couldn't quite understand what you had to do. And I guess people just go along and they just sort of squirt things around because it was really difficult to read some of the directions on the products I picked up. But in actual fact, what you need to do with a disinfectant to make it really effective is generally to just make sure that the surface is clean first, and then you disinfect afterwards, and you allow it enough time to actually do its job. And all that should be indicated on the label. So it's not a hit and miss thing. You want to make sure that the product that you're purchasing is a registered disinfectant that's been tested. And in fact, it even should give you a time factor. For Care, for example, we dilute it, and you'll see that in fact we can make 50 liters from this product. It's unbelievable. So it's a 1 to 50 dilution for your general household use. Obviously, if you want it stronger and have a sort of a more, if you like, medicinal application, but in an area where you really don't want there to be any bacteria, perhaps like even in a hospital environment, you would do it at a stronger dilution, perhaps 1 to 10. But in our general household use, 1 to 50, that means you make another 50 liters out of this purchase of something that has already been tested, verified, it's got its numbers that we know that it's actually on a register somewhere as a reputable disinfectant. And so we will use this particular one. We preferably clean the surface, as I say, and then we have a contact time of about 5 minutes, just to make sure that it's completely clean. Any residual bacteria or anything that might have come in with the food or with something that you just, what do? We pop things onto our kitchen counters often. You put your handbag there or you put your shopping there, and we've pretty much introduced something onto that surface where we later are going to perhaps chop up some food. So very important just to have this on a regular basis. Excellent product. And so you'll start to see it works, as a duo. In a slightly more grimy or dirty surface, you've got to make sure that you've cleaned it with Super 10. You wipe it so the surface is clean, and then you will apply your Care. And as I say, just give it a chance to work. Then you can, up to 5 minutes or so while you're busy preparing. And then you can even just, pat it dry or not even leave that. You don't even have to touch it, but you can wipe off that surface because now you know it's actually disinfected. Then areas where you're using a lighter duty cleaner, like LDC, again, you're going to clean that surface. And if you want to make sure that it's disinfected, then you simply squirt on some of your Care at a 1 to 50 dilution in your home. And you're allowed a certain amount of time, 5 minutes or whatever, before maybe if you've done that in the loo, and then you can just flush the toilet, but give it a chance to work. So this is a combo, this is the ultimate combo. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to save some time and I'm going to mix them together. That's not a good idea because they have a job of work to do independently. So rather keep your LDC or your Super 10 in its bottle and dilute it as I've recommended before, and keep your Care as a separate product. They're not going to conflict with each other, but they're in fact going to work against one another if you mix them, because that's just the way we've designed them. One does its cleaning job, the other does its disinfecting job, and it's got that sort of ability to, the Care will actually stay on the surface even though you've wiped it. It's intended to do that, so it's made that way. It's not a squirt and then wash off completely. So don't mix them. It's not the ideal way to combine their benefits. Yeah, so we've looked at some of the liquids. In actual fact, perhaps I should just go back before I start on the powders and just talk a little bit about the economy of the product. So let me rather just go back here for a minute. And, we did the exercise actually when looking at these different products on the shelves. And because of the different applications, the diversity of the use of the products, I talked about, let's say, Super 10, for example, you could use it as a towel cleaner, shower cleaner, an oven cleaner, squirting it on laundry for stain removal, even in your sinks and drains. So just looking at products that you purchase for that specific reason or purpose only, which is actually what's happening in the supermarket. As I say, you're buying about 10 or 15 different products because the label is telling you, well, I've got an oven or I've got a shower, so I need a different product. So when we actually sort of compared the prices sort of litre for litre, in fact, the saving So if we bought a towel cleaner, as I say, a shower cleaner, oven cleaner, stain cleaner for the laundry, sink and drain cleaner, as separate products, and we just had Super 10, litre for litre, you actually saved 75% of the cost of those products if you were just using Neolab's Super 10 product. It will do all those jobs and more, but there was a 75% saving, and the same actually with the light duty concentrate. I talked about it being able to wash dishes. People were using it for shaving, they were washing the dog, even using it as a bath, bubble bath, foam bath. So when we looked at things like a dishwashing liquid, well-known names too, dishwashing liquid, a shaving gel, a dog shampoo, and a foam bath, when we gauged them and compared them litre for litre, again, the saving was between 70 and 75% if you have been using LDC. So you are saving a fortune's worth of money, not to mention time, and not to mention the surfaces that you're applying it to, and your family and the environment. But in actual rands and cents, it was 75% for both those products when we actually compared it to the use applications we're talking about. And that's just some of the applications. I can add, as you could see, 10, 15 more applications for each product and save even more. So very exciting in terms of all those factors we talked about, it being powerful, economical, and of course, earth friendly. And it certainly lives up to that reputation. So those are the liquids, 3 out of the 4 products. And we're going to talk about the powder now. And of course, most people everyone's going to clean their clothes at some point, and they're going to use some sort of laundry compound to do so. So I want to talk a little bit about G1, because this is also fits that bill perfectly and does an excellent job. So let's look at its pedigree. It's a very concentrated laundry powder. In fact, it's probably 3 times more concentrated than your average product that's on the market, on the shelf. And that 20 ml versus 200 ml, that's the size of the portion, the dose that you have to put into your washing machine. And I'll show you what that actually looks like later. Okay, but 20 mils of G1 compared to 200 mils of your everyday sort of, your well-known Ariels, Omos, Skips, that type of thing. And that's what they're recommending on their containers. So that's why I'm mentioning their names. It's not a secret. It removes a variety of stains. That's what you would expect a washing powder to do. It's got to be able to work on all different types of fabrics, bring out the best in the fabric, not harm the fabric, and remove the stains. So it's actually got some enzymes in the product that actually gravitate to whether they're protein stains or fat stains. That's what makes it so effective. And you can use it in hard or soft water. So it's very flexible, does its job, the job it's supposed to do. Many washing powders are sold as a 2 kilogram. That's what we've chosen to package it at. We'll get a minimum actually of 133 washes. That's an enormous number of washes. And you'll see how that compares with others shortly. And you can use it at low temperatures. That's what we've also, I talked about the liquids. You could use them with cold water. You could wash your dishes with LVC in cold water. And you can use this at 20 degrees, which is virtually cold. And you'll get all those benefits because we've got all the right ingredients to make it all work for your washing and come out. The whites will be whiter. The colors will actually be crisper. And you can use the same product for whites and for colored garments. And then, of course, the earth-friendly component, which is extremely important. Yes, it's biodegradable. So that means it's going to break down when it's being used, but it's actually not going to damage anything in the environment when the water is actually removed from the washing. We've gone for a vegetable-based surfactant. That is, in other words, one of the cleaning agents. It's vegetable-based. It saves energy because you're actually using it with cold water or very mild water temperature. No phosphates in there to pollute our waterways or our rivers. And of course, generally non-polluting because we're getting a huge number of washes out of one set of packaging yet again. We're not turfing out packaging at a high rate of knots. So this is what we just showed you as well. I just showed you what a 200 ml sort of little spade looks like. And that's what you're being recommended to use when you're purchasing your sort of normal brand, well-known brands on supermarket shelves. And with G1, we've got a dinky little scoop. And it's a 10 ml scoop, and we say to use two of those this is for a normal wash, okay, for perhaps a 6 to 8 kilogram washing machine. And we've chosen to go for a 10 ml because when you want to top it up, if perhaps you've got more, you can decide whether you've got a particularly soiled wash. Maybe you want to add a bit more, then you'd have to add a bit more of that spade. And for us, you can just add another little 10 ml addition. So we've kept it small, but that just to gives you an idea of how concentrated the product is. And on the right-hand side, that just shows the amount of powder that you're actually putting in your washing machine. So that huge 200 ml blob and this tiny little 20 ml, and that is why we're talking about it being so concentrated. So you're not putting a whole lot of solids, if you like, into your washing machine, which can coagulate and build up in the piping and all the plumbing and what have you. And in fact, we know, because we're putting so little in, because of the contents of our product G1, it's actually not going to build up. There's not going to be a scum build up in the pipes. There's going to not be a corrosion, and your washing machine will actually last longer, not to mention your clothes. So I think this is quite an eye-opener to see how much actual physical powder you're putting into your washing and your washing machine with your average everyday product that you're being recommended to purchase. Well-known brands that people swear by. But in fact, look how much is in there. And of course, you want to make sure that your product is also free rinsing, so it doesn't actually stay in the fibers of your clothing, because that in turn starts to become an irritant to people's skins. And we've seen many, many times when people have eczema or get a rash, or they come to us hoping to get perhaps a nutritional solution to the skin condition that they might have. And many people will just say, well, change your washing powder first, because already let's eliminate a whole lot of residue and irritants that are in that big blob of powder that you'll be putting into your washing machine and into your clothing ultimately. So I think that's quite an eye-opener. And yes, and you're saving money, because in fact, remember, it's only 20 mils per wash that we're putting in there. So we're getting approximately a minimum of 133 washes, and your other brands are getting probably about 20 washes out of a 2 kilogram purchase. So your wash is going to cost you about R2.41 a wash when you do a load of washing in your washing machine, which really today, what can you get for R2.41? So quite an amazing product. We're very proud of it. It's something that, and we've modernized it along the way. We've made it more and more earth friendly and more effective. And we don't just sit there and say, well, we've been doing this for 60 years. If there are things that we can improve, and as I say, we went to a vegetable-based ingredient, for example, we're trying to make it friendlier and friendlier as we go along. But remember, a product has to work. It can't be made of sand and water, because that's the most earth friendly you're going to get. But then it doesn't do anything in terms of the job it's supposed to do. Disinfectant is supposed to disinfect. A cleaner is supposed to clean. A laundry compound is supposed to clean and freshen and brighten your clothing. And we're doing all that with all those products. And I say all those products, only 4 products that are doing that job for you. So yeah, we've talked about those products. We have a really cute little hints and tips book. It's in an alphabetical order. In other words, you can look up, I want to clean my carpet, or I've got a wax crayon stain on something. You can just look it up. And I'm putting 2 copies here because I'm suggesting to distributors, you should always have this on hand, whether you have a physical copy, and it's a small little book, or you have it on your phone, or, it's available on the back office. You can download it, you can send it and share it to people, but you always need to have one on hand, on tap, so that you can actually always access it. And I suggest that you either give a hard copy, or you, as I say, share it with your customer or anyone who buys just one of your products, because this is going to be their go-to little booklet that is going to show them how to keep their house clean, do that spring cleaning in no time at all. And whenever they need to know how to use a product, you're going to have a Neolife one on tap for them so that they can use it. So if you haven't used it before, and if you're a distributor, go in your back office, have a look. It's there already. It is available in a hard copy. And I suggest you share it with everyone, because we've touched on 4 products that are going to do the job for you, but there are others that we have, and there are a whole lot of other jobs that these 4 products can do in your home. Work for you, work for your family, work for the environment, and for your pocket. So I do believe that you can feel quite proudly earth-friendly when you start using just 4 products this spring. So I hope you've learned something this evening. And Neolife is very proud of their Golden Home Care range. Yeah, and that's me for this evening. Thanks.